Hello everyone, welcome back to Ben and Danielle Reviews. I'm Ben. Today I'm going to be talking about my top 50 games of all time. If this is your first time checking out the channel, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content. I know it's been a little bit since Danielle or I have been on camera, aside from our Favorite Game Friday segments, but since it's the beginning of the year, I figured we start fresh with our top 50 games of all time. Well, I'm going to do my top 50 games, and she's going to do her top 10. We're going to have some guests on the channel do their personal top 10s, top 20s, something like that. Whatever they feel comfortable with. I also plan to have more quick reviews, some more unboxings, and hopefully some playthroughs coming in the new year. I know Danielle's been busy and I've been working, so definitely going to have to prioritize more content going forward. But starting with number 50 is going to be an older game from around 2004-ish. It won the Spiel des Jahres, and that is Alhambra. Alhambra is a game in which you have tiles that you're placing in your Alhambra, and you are buying those tiles with different types of currency. So there's 4 different types of currency in the game, and there's 4 slots for which tiles can be purchased, and they each have a different currency value based on how much those cards are worth, based on how difficult they are to place, because you have to place them in a way where you have to be able to reach them in your town, and there's walls blocking off some tiles, and you're going to be creating walls around your city. And I like how they have different types of currency, so you really have to decide what kind of currency you're going for, because you can't buy every tile, because you won't always have that type of currency to buy the necessary tiles when they come out. So that's cool. Number 49 is another game I played recently for the first time. I don't own it either because it's harder to find. This one has been out of print for a long time, and that's St. Petersburg. So in St. Petersburg, it's a card game where you're building up your tableau of cards. So you have 4 different stages on each turn. In the first one, you are buying your workers, which those workers will get you money at the end of every worker phase. Then the next one, you'll be buying buildings, and those buildings are going to mostly be worth points. And so at the end of every workaround, those buildings will score points. And then the next one will be, I believe, aristocrats, which those ones are a little bit pricier as well. But those give you a combination of points and currency, depending on which one it is. And the last one is a miscellaneous ones that cost you other buildings and other workers. So there'll be different types of workers and buildings in the game, and you will have to sacrifice one of your buildings that you already have to buy one of those special buildings, and the cost of those original buildings help reduce the cost of the new buildings. So I enjoy how you are just constantly building up your engine of cards, and so you're not going to, you start out not being able to afford very many things, but then later on in the game, you're going to get a whole bunch of money, be able to get a whole bunch of cards, score a whole bunch of points, and you just race to see how many points you can accumulate versus your opponent. And I also enjoy that the number of cards that come out each round is variable based on how many cards were purchased. The more cards that get purchased, the more cards come out. So later on in the game, you're going to have more and more cards coming out, being made available to you some rounds, and then some rounds you won't be able to have very many at all. You might have only like 2 or 3 cards that you get to choose from for a phase. And also I like how you're not playing a certain number of rounds. You play until one of the piles is empty from one of the phases. Number 47 is my only party game from the list, and that is Codenames. I have this in this tiny little box here because it's so much nicer and easier to transport. And this one's purchased on Etsy, and it's got the cards here, got your code markers inside here, you got your scoring tiles here, you got the timer here, sand timer. And so Codenames is a game in which you have a grid of 25 words, 5x5 grid, and one person is going to be the clue giver. From each team, you play in 2 teams. One person is going to go by this here, and they're going to have, well, it's going to tell you which words are yours, and you have to give one-word clues to people to help, to your teammates, to help them guess their words before your opponents guess their words. There's also the white ones, which are innocent bystanders, and there's this black one here, which is the assassin, that if the guessers guess the assassin word, that your team automatically loses. It's a fun party game. I think it plays best at 4, but at 6 is also really fun. You can play with as many people as you want, so that's fun. That's awesome. I realize that some people don't always like to be the ones giving clues, but I always try and encourage people, if they're not comfortable with it, to still give it a try and do their best. All right, where are we at? 47. My number 47 is a solo-only game by Freedom and Freeze, and that is Friday. Friday is a game based on the Robinson Crusoe books, in which you play as Friday, and you are building up your deck of cards. So you're going to start out with a very weak deck, where Friday is very not confident with himself, not very able to survive, and he's going to be facing different tests and different fight cards, and he's also going to be aging in the game, and the farther into the game, the aging cards get more severe, and you're trying to defeat the pirates at the end of the game and escape. I don't think I've ever beaten this game just because it's so hard, because the deck your starting deck is going to be very weak at the beginning, and if you don't play your cards out properly and trash all the bad cards really quickly and beat the early challenges, you're not going to have a good enough foundation to get you through the rest of the game, and you're going to end up dying. I've always died in this. I have gotten a couple times to fighting the pirates, but those pirates are always so tough. Number 46 is another game I've only played a couple times, but I've really enjoyed it. And that's Barren Park by Phil Walker Harding, a game in which you are going to be building your own bear park. You have a starting tile, and you're going to be placing tiles on your board of different bear attractions and different trophies and things, and you are going to be getting points according to how big the tile is. The earlier tiles in the game are going to be worth more points, and then they're going to be in descending order going down, so it's best. So if you can get the ball rolling first and be the first one to get different goals, that is usually the best way to do it. Number 45 is Awkward Guess. Awkward Guess is a game in which you are going to be figuring out who killed Mr. Walton. So it is a game similar to Clue, except for without a board. You have your own sheet here. I'll show you kind of what that looks like. You got your own individual like D&D sort of thing here, which lets you kind of shield your sheet from everyone else. And you are going to be trading cards amongst each other to cross off, deduce who was the killer, and why and how. I really like how they took the genre of deduction and crime solving from Clue and really took all the luck out of it and really made it all skill-based, in which you're passing cards to each other, and you kind of have to remember like who you traded with already, what cards they've been discarding, and what cards you gave them, because if you don't play it right, you could be exchanging cards with someone and be getting the cards that you already gave them before. So I enjoyed that aspect of it quite a lot. It can get a little lengthy with newer players, but once you know how to play, it should speed up pretty nicely. And there's plenty of scenarios to play. In the app also, there's a mobile app with it that gives you even more scenarios to play. Number 44 is a game called Cartographers. Cartographers is a flip and write game in which you are building up your own sort of role-playing map. It's based in the role-player universe, and so you are going to be flipping over cards in each season and you're going to be drawing that shape of terrain somewhere on your map, and when you're done, you are going to get something that looks something like this. I bought some colored pencils for the game. I think it makes the experience more exciting than just using a standard pencil and drawing things in. You'll always have 4 goals during the game. At the end of each season, there'll be 4 seasons in the game, which is the spring, winter, summer, fall, and during each season, certain goals will fire. So you have to plan for each season, the goals of each season, and the very first goal is going to be the one that scores first, and then it's going to score at the very end. So it's really interesting how that works. I really like this Cartographers. Number 43 is Parks. It is a game where you are going along a trail. It's kind of like a ratchet system, I guess, where you can go as far along the trail as you want, and where you stop, you get that resource, and you build up resources to take pictures of and collect different national parks, which are worth a certain number of points. And you are playing to, I forgot how many rounds there are. I want to say there's 3, but you have 59 national parks, and you are going to be trying to collect as many of them as you can. And there's water jugs and different things that will give you special abilities in the game. So that's really cool. And that's number 43, Parks. Number 42 is Rolling Realms. It is a game designed by Jamie Stegmaier during the pandemic. It was originally a print and play game that he made for people to play over Zoom, and he does his like weekly gaming sessions that you can play along with. I enjoy playing along with those. He also started doing a bunch of expansion realms, which are available on the website. I have not gotten any of those, but those are based on other games like Feast for Odin and Honey Buzz. But I just, out of this box, you get the 11 realms per. Yeah, you get 11 realms per the base box, which is based on 11 different Stonemaier games. So that gives you a lot of variability out of the box. There's a golf course you can play for the solo mode, which is different scenarios that you play one by one. But I usually what I do is I'll play along with Jamie on the YouTube. So that's number 42, Rolling Realms. And finally, last but not least on this segment is another solo game, and that is Mr. Cabbagehead's Garden. Mr. Cabbagehead is building up his garden, but you have to build it so that you can score points, but you also don't want to make it too good in which your neighbor wants to come and steal your vegetables while you're on vacation. I really like the bag pulling from this and the card flipping over, and just how trying to rearrange your grid of vegetables, planting them in a way that will score you points, but not scoring you too many points to which you're going to end up losing points because your neighbors want to steal them. That is 41. So that concludes my list of the top 50 games, numbers 50 through 41. If you enjoyed this, please give this a thumbs up, and hope to see you at the next one. Have a good one. Bye.